everybody, welcome back to my channel. Do you remember this from last week? The trees? Well, we're doing more plants this week. We're doing succulents. I don't know what I was thinking, but that's what we're doing. So, yeah, it seems as if the succulent world has kind of had this huge insurgence on our planet all of a sudden. Everybody's taking notice of these very quaint little bowls filled with multicolored, well, basically cactus, which I was like, what's the difference between a succulent and a cactus? And I found out that cactus are succulents, but not all succulents are cactus. I was like, okay. So my brain just went ahead and put them all in the same category anyway. But that's what we're doing. So I pulled up on my computer, of course, some random photos of succulents, and that's when I realized that one of them is one of my favorites. And they're just so pretty. I just want one of everything. And yeah, so I'm gonna draw probably the one that's the most notoriety, has the most notoriety. I'm gonna draw it first. So it has like an eye in the center, similar to this, and then from the center it has these leaves shaped like this, and it just keeps going out. That was backwards. Let's try that line again. There we go. And then from here, and out from here, and they progressively get larger. Just like this. Now what I think would be very cool is to make a mandala out of one of these. I think that would be really pretty. Like that. And there's shading. It's down low. And has so whatever's down inside starts out wide and then comes up to the tip like that. Which shows that these leaves here are kind of scooped. And a lot of these also have like some wild colors. And I think my favorite though is the one that goes from green and has a pink, like the edges are pink. I just think those are gorgeous. They also come in like purples with blues. You can see how this is forming these little cupped areas and the shadows down below show that these leaves are higher. So it gives that stacked effect. And you could just keep going on and on and on with this. There. I think this looks pretty three-dimensional. I like the way this turned out. Of course, like I said, you could just keep going on and on with the shading and the shadows and all that. And, you know, really make it look three-dimensional. Which I think is the most important part when you're drawing something that's this recognizable, is making sure that you get all those shadows right. Because if you don't, people will be like, oh, I don't know what that is. So you just get all your tones correct and all that. So you could, like I said, you could just keep going on and on and on trying to get this to, you get all your tones and darks and lights and all that correct. And I do believe they do end up a little bit more round. Like so. I mean, you could just keep making it bigger and bigger if you wanted to. But, yeah, that would be our basic succulent. But because I'm extra and I have got to do things my way, I want to draw a cactus. So yeah, because, you know, like they say, not all cactus are succulents, but not all succulents are cactus. Okay, which means that cactus are succulents. So I can draw a cactus if I want to. So one of my favorite cartoons back in the day was Coyote and Roadrunner. I used to love that cartoon. It was hilarious. Let me see if I can find a background scene, because, you know, it took place in the desert, so. Roadrunner and Coyote. Images. Most definitely images. Let's see if I can't find something. Because those were so iconic. Oh yeah. There's definitely there's definitely some good ones on here. Just, oh my gosh. This, in particular, with Coyote, they had two different ways of doing this, which is interesting. It may be that the artist had changed over the years, refined his work, or they changed artist. At some point, was very likely. I just can't help but giggle. It's just so funny. Just looking at these images brings back really great memories from when I was a kid. Now, what I found interesting about this is the detail that they put in to their cartoony work was very simplified, because these are known as Aurora cactus and they grow like crazy all over Arizona. They just basically had little pointy things to show that, yeah, they were sharp, and if you fell into it or got blasted into it by an Acme bomb or something, you were gonna get stickers. And they would just have a shadow of a line. These came down this way. And they didn't put any other real pictures of, now this is a newer image I'm pulling up here. And they did, in the second one, they would, now this is the difference between the artists. You can actually see the differences. I will show you this. These are supposed to be like the same type of cactus. Which I find this very interesting, that the two different artists drew these, what was supposed to be a similar cactus, but it was, the texturing was completely different. You can see the difference in the texture and everything. It is interesting to see the difference in the two designs, the way the two artists actually portrayed a similar cactus. Very interesting. It feels like one's a lot looser, and this is out of the same cartoon now. It's both Roadrunner and the Coyote from Warner Brothers. This one actually feels like it has a lot more texture to it, and a lot more realistic, or even semi-realistic feel to it versus the first one. This was the older one, this is the newer one. Which, this is quite interesting to see this. So you can see visually the difference in how much detail was put into, you know, back in, I would guess this was probably, I'm not sure what the date would be on here, but it's much more cartoony than what the newer cartoons had out. Yeah, this is the modern, is what they call the modern Coyote, and then this would be your, you know, back in the day. So I'm not sure what the dates are on these. It's interesting though to see the difference, you know, between the cartoon artist's renditions of what he thought of, you know, what this artist thought a saguaro cactus looked like versus what this one looks like. So it's, yeah, very, very interesting. And I noticed that this artist used single needles versus this artist, everything came in little threes. So I actually, some of these triples should not be in here. It was more like this with just one stroke. So yeah, it's just, that's interesting. And he also added little, like little plants at the base, which this artist did not. Let me see if I can't, not that big. I'll go ahead and ink this, or ink these two in, kind of give you a better idea. So, as you can see, we have these two different artists and their renditions of what a cactus should look like fit with the rest of the backgrounds, of course, and fit with the way that they were drawing Coyote and Roadrunner. So it's quite interesting to see, you know, the differences. And it's like, and how would I draw it? I would draw it probably completely different than this. This is what I see visually by other artists. So yeah, this is pretty cool. So, you know, how would you draw a cactus? How would you go this way, you know, where it's typical, or would you add a little bit of flair to it? I would like to see what you draw. Definitely. So if you followed along, or if you even, you know, watched the video and paused it and drew what you wanted to draw in succulents and cactus, please put it up on Instagram with hashtag drawsomesquad, so me and Jen can take a look at it. And yeah, don't forget to go look at her videos, because you know she's done some fantastic art. Always does. So yeah, I will leave all the links in the bottom. And thank you to Tara Corvus, who followed along last week. And if you want a shout out, make sure you go to Instagram, put your picture up there with the hashtag drawsomesquad, and you can get a shout out in next week's video. And until next week's video, I sure do love you bunches. Bye!